Are you ready to make a Chilkat Tunic tassel zipper pull? I hope so, because that's what we're here to do. So we have, in our little kits, we should have the tiny little metal finding with the warps, these are raven's tail warps, already pulled through into the little smaller part of that little finding. And then we have a little wooden peg. That's going to be the body of our little zipper pull. And I might refer to this little guy as an octopus, even though he's only got 6 legs. See that? We're going to put that wooden peg right inside here. And we're going to kind of straighten out the legs of this octopus right here. And you can see that my right hand is holding the head of the octopus. And then the little wooden peg is kind of in the body. This is a little tricky to start, but what I really want to do is snug that little wooden peg right up underneath the metal part there and make sure that's touching. It doesn't have to be super tight, but just enough that they're touching. And then I'm going to hold this with my thumb and index finger of my left hand. Okay, now I want to choose my yarns, and for this one, for these guys, we're using black, then turquoise, then black, and that's what's kind of standard, or it goes reverse, turquoise, black, turquoise, on the bottom of Chilkat tunics, but you can use whichever colors you love most. Don't use more than 3 colors, because you are going to need at least 8 or 10 wraps of each color to make the invisible knot, and you'll see we're not going to tie any knots. It's going to be a secret trick. So grab one of your first colors. In this case, I'm going to use black. And we're going to make a little like loop. We're going to fold it over just a little bit, about the same distance of what I'm holding in my hand. So what is that? Like 2, almost 3 knuckles of that little fold. I'm going to lay that loop opposite of the octopus head. Okay, so lay the loop opposite here. And then I want to hold the loop down with everything else that I'm holding. Oh, look, it's already slipping around. It's tricky, it's tricky. Okay, I'm holding that loop on the opposite end of the head, and I've got a little tail here. That's good. Leave the tail there. And then I'm going to start wrapping really close to the top of that wood, not all the way up to the top, but really close up there, and giving it a pretty good firm wrap. So I want it to be kind of crushing. You can see how it's like making an indentation here. I want it to be crushing that warps just a little bit, so it's holding everything down in. Oh, look, and if I wrap it too far away, it's going to leave a white spot. So I want to wrap it right next to each other over and over and over again, 8 or 10 times, till I get about 1/3 of that distance. Let's see, does that actually work? Is that the same measurement? It's about, that's a little bit farther, so I'm going to take half of that back. So then I want to take this long end that the wrapping end, and now you see that I've got this little loop and the tail here. If I pull on this tail, it's going to make that loop smaller. Okay, so the little tail. I want to take my wrapping, and I'm pinching here. So I'm wrapping this. I'm going to put this through the head, through that loop, sorry, the opposite head, right, through the loop of my little guy that I started, right? That's the tail that I pull on. And I'm going to pull the longer end through here. That's my wrapping end. Pull it through there. Now watch. I'm going to kind of hold that just a little bit while I pull on the short tail that's up by the head of my octopus. Pull, 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 pull. Now look, the loop is going to pull inside of here, pulling inside, and that's going to be the join, the magic knotless join of this technique. So as I pull it, I don't know if you can see, there's a tiny little bump where those have like hooked elbows now, right? So if I pull it all the way through, it's going to pull the loop to the top of this, and that's not what I want to do. I don't want it to come out the top. I want that join where these two have crossed inside. I want it to stay kind of in the center of my wrappings. So I'm going to pull on this longer tail as well and kind of get it a little bit more secure, kind of wiggle and see where it's at. Yep, it's in there. It's pretty well in there. Now I'm going to leave it as it is. Okay, we're going to wrap the next color, but here's the thing. I want you to go along and gently, gently tug on your little octopus legs. See, and you're going to snug those a little bit and just adjust them a little bit so that they kind of even out the space on that little dowel peg, okay? See how I've got a big gap right here? I kind of want to adjust that so that there's less of that peg showing. It doesn't really matter to me if it's showing here on this part at the top, but really kind of even it out on all the legs here. Okay, I'm going to do that before I go on. There we go. Pretty even all the way around. And here's the next thing. We want to put the next color in. I'm going to use turquoise. Again, folding my little loop like that, right? And it is about the same length as like the peg and the metal, a little bit longer than that. And then laying my loop on here again, but here's the thing, I don't want to lay it on the same point where my black was. See how those lines are coming out here? I don't want to lay them in between these legs. I want to turn my little guy just a little bit and have it lay between some other legs like this. And then making sure that I have a tail that sticks up at least as far as my little metal finding. And then again, I'm going to hold with my left hand and wrap again, and starting around the top here. So here's where it gets tricky, because you want to have this color go right up against your black, and that first row is kind of going to be a halfway, right? So then getting it all the way around, and again giving it some good tension, like give it some pressure, so you're really getting it squishing down those fibers. Wrap, wrap, wrap all the way around. What is that? 6, 7, 8. Okay, just about 8 wraps. I could probably do one more and get away with it. One more wrap. Okay, same. I've got the longer end of my wrapping tail, right? And I've got the shorty guy up here. What happens? We take the long end of our wrapper, put it through the loop, pull the shorty while I'm holding that one back out of the way, right? I'm going to pull the little shorty like this and have that loop catch it. Oops, snuggy snug, 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 snug. And then as I watch that little loop disappear into the space down in here, I want to make sure that I'm not going to pull it all the way through. Whoa, you can really see it pulling that tail. That's cool. Okay, so I can tell it's about here in my wraps. That means I'm going to pull on both of these guys. If I pull this all the way through to the other side, watch what happens. Watch, watch. There's this little nubby that's happening over here. That's this loop. I don't want to do that. So want to make sure that this really does come back through this way. Okay, now that it's in the middle of it, so it's not up the top or the bottom, I'm going to pull both of these guys and make it nice and firm. And that's snugging the first line and the last line of my wrappings. Okay. So now I've got a turquoise here and black here, and that's totally fine. I'm going to rotate my little octopus one more time and put in our last color. Same, make a little loop. The folded end of the loop is opposite from the head of our little octopus wrapping. Okay, putting the loop here, making sure there's a little bit of loop visible. Grabbing onto this one. Tail is at least as long as the head of the octopus, and then beginning to wrap again, making sure that my little black line goes up against this guy. Wrap, 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 wrap. Here we go. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I switched hands. Did you see that? Now I'm holding it with my right hand and wrapping and wrapping and wrapping. What I want to make sure of is that I don't get too close to the bottom of my little wood peg. See how it has a little bit of a tilt? It has a little bit of a slant to it right there. I don't want to wrap that far down. I can only wrap as far as there are little edges, the little ridges on there. So I might stop here. I'm okay if there's a little more stick showing so that I don't go over that edge. Okay, so here we are at the end. I'm going to take my tail again, the wrapping one, put it through the loop, hold on to the tail of that one while I pull the little shorty tail of this one. Now the reason we rotate is so that I don't accidentally pull on this one, right? I don't want to pull on this one. I want to pull on the one that makes the loop disappear. So I'm pulling on that guy. And then, let's see, pull, 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 making go in. Oh, just snugged it in. So this means I'm going to pull it just a little bit further in. Ooh, 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 pull it in. Ow. Okay, I think that's pretty secure. Let's see. Again, I'm going to pull on both pieces because then it's tightening this line. Oh, look, I overlapped it on my turquoise. Okay. Then I'm going to pull on this line and pull on that one. And then we got it. That's our deal. All right. So what do? There's no knots. Look, isn't that so sleek and fun? There's no knots anywhere. Now grab your little scissors. And any scissors will work, but I really like beard trimming scissors or thread scissors. Ask your parents or your guardian if you can use theirs, because what you want to do is make sure you get right up against your little spinny guys and trim as close as you can without pulling too hard so that there's no little fluffies that stick up. Sometimes there will be fluffies even with the sharpest and finest scissors, but I'm pulling just a little bit with this, so I don't want to pull the knot out, right, where I crisscross those inside. Pull just a little bit, snip, and it should disappear. Same here. Go along and trim all your little guys like this. Trim, trim, trim. Trim, triminy, trim, triminy, trim all the tails. Here we go. Cut that one off. And let's cut the last one off. Yay, fun! Oh my goodness. I have a tiny little bit of that turquoise peeking out the bottom, but I'm not gonna see it. Nobody else is gonna see it, right? I'm gonna adjust my little octopus legs right there. And I have, and you have, a little Chilkat Tunic tassel zipper pull. Clip it to your jacket, clip it to your favorite backpack. You have made a little piece of history right here. Thanks for joining me.